And I really want to stop that.
Yeah.
I really want to do my part in through people's communication and language with themselves and with other people, because my philosophy is that all in any, I'm going to go to the extreme.
Yeah.
I'm a purist and say all of the situations that we find ourselves in that cause us stress most probably started in a communication breakdown.
Yeah,
totally.
That we don't even realize happened.
Yeah.
It's we think it's the other person.
Yeah.
We think, we used all the right words, so why are they acting like that?
Well, and not only that, but it's also the fact of, actually misunderstanding what the other person might be saying.
Exactly.
It's utterly projecting your own self into what they're saying.
Right.
And
exactly. And that takes discipline.
It does.
Because of that agenda thing.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm on a mission to do is take the communication habits that aren't working for us and replace them with communication habits that work for you. Whatever that is, it's so personal.
Yeah.
Because everybody, when you think about the conversations that we grew up having, we first started talking to people that had to talk to us. And we had to talk to them.
They would have had to run away to get away from it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
when we needed something, we had to talk to people who could give us what we needed. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we develop all these patterns that maybe worked in that environment and don't so much work out of that environment. And then we go out and talk to people that don't necessarily have to talk to us.
Sure.
So and the way we talked before, or the way we communicated before, the way we beed before is not working now.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Well,
it can't be us. It must be them.
Right. Well, and it's interesting that you bring that up, because I literally just did an episode of Dudes and Beer about cognitive dissonance and about the concept of your brain becomes so ingrained with a belief or a paradigm that when you're actually confronted with information either proving that paradigm wrong or shifting that paradigm in a way that you don't understand, your brain does three things amygdala-wise. It's fight, flight, or freeze. And it either fights against the information and says, no, this is unacceptable, this is not right, or it accepts it. It accepts it, which is the flight, or it utterly just locks up and it freezes up, and people don't know what to do. And you see that a lot in communication. People don't.
Yeah. I think that's it. Is that a lot of times they see what they're doing or saying doesn't work.
Yep.
Or is not working, and then they don't know what else to do. It's like they don't have those skills. It's just like people who grow up in passive aggressive households and they don't have any conflict resolution skills.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like I don't know what to do next, so I'm stuck with doing what doesn't work and then maybe doing some adaptations on that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's still not getting me what I want. So it's breaking through what's not working.
Yeah.
And getting to what works and getting your mind and all of its trash out of the way.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it, is that you do have to get the mind and its trash out of the way. And people for some reason expect that there will be an immediate result, an immediate change in their life. And it's like, well, no, as long as it took for you to program that muscle of a brain to react that way, it's going to take almost as long for you to deprogram it and for you to rewire
unless you
it
are really, really dedicated.
Exactly.
Or like a savant. And it's funny too, because like technology, separates us in a way, to the extent of it. People, it seems like technology is evolving to the end of us not having to even look at each other anymore. Riding a bus is crazy. I feel like I could just take my shirt off on a bus, and
Right.
only the bus driver would know because of that giant mirror. And so, like, there's this thing where people don't like, people are forgetting that an actual genuine interaction is just good for your mental health. You know, to like constantly.
Well,
I mean,
and they avoid it because they don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Right. And then, you know, and then all of a sudden the only person you really have left to talk to is yourself. And some people just have terrible selves. And also,
it's a scary place to be sometimes.
Right. Yeah. No. And especially if it's lonely. And, you know, you see all these other people that you are scared to communicate with, but then have Facebook pages that make it look like they are, you know, like Richard Branson or something. You know, you compare themselves to the best, that's what that is. It's not them, it's the best version of them. It's the thing that, you know, they want everybody to see. And so then you start to beat yourself up because you're like, well, I'm not holding children in a country that, you know, has cute, poor children. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's like Donna said, the inner critic is horrifyingly abusive.
I think modern times amplify that, though. It's not even like just keeping up with the Joneses now. No. It's not even like looking across the fence and being mad about that new car. It's like everybody's doing better than you if you don't talk to them and let them tell you why they're not doing better.
Yeah, but you have to acknowledge that everything on social media, everything on the internet is curated. Like, you can't legitimately... and I feel like, I mean, perhaps I'm wrong, but I feel like you can't imagine that people are actually who they say they are online. I mean, it's like dating profiles. Like, nobody's that person. They're creating a puffed up idea of who they are. But that being said, to bring it to the worlds that Donna has to deal with, I can't imagine that when people are in a work environment, when they come to her, that they even feel comfortable to be who they are. Right. You know what I mean? Like, we all, when I go to an office, when I work in an office, you have to pretend to be the best you can be in that moment, especially if the job that you have is maybe like just slightly more intense than you can handle, but you're like, yeah, I can do that, no problem. Like, and you're just constantly working hard every day to get it done, but at the same time, like, everybody thinks, oh, she's amazing because you accomplished the task. Like, we're all living in these curated little bubbles where we're
characters.
We're like faking it.
Yeah, and it even outside of work, one of the most poignant. I do an exercise during my sessions, and there was a participant, and it was at a big corporation, and he had brought up a personal scenario of trying to get his daughter to eat her vegetables. Right, just that mundane. That's his just get it. And he was playing a father character. You know, much to what you were saying. You know, and we have these characters we think we have to play, right? And he was playing a father character, and could not even get him to see it in any other light because he was her father. So it's like he could see it wasn't working. It should have been working. To him, it should have been working. And it wasn't working, and he couldn't even see himself outside of that father character that he was playing to have it change. And that's how some people are invested in those personas and those little bubbles and those characters that we say, well, this should be working. These words that I'm saying should be and then we end up shoulding all over everybody.
Yeah.
The opposite side of that coin can also be bad too. You know, the dad that just wants to be your friend kind of thing.
Yes. Well, and that's another character.
Yeah.
That's
you just
another
gotta,
character.
find that. Well, you got to be a real person. It's not even like, hey, no, I'm the cool guy you can talk to.
Right, and you have to. All of that's real. It's just you have to be willing to do what works.
Right.
You have to be in a conversation with other people, no matter what the outcome.
That's right.
We're so married to the outcome and how it needs to go and when it needs to happen that just being in a conversation with another person, regardless of the outcome, is scary for a lot of people. You know, and just to speak to that, you know, we do see all of this technology and all the ways to communicate as, I think some people see it, yes, it's a boon to some, in some ways, in some facets, and it separates us. And I think just in the spirit of improv and acceptance and saying, okay, why is this happening? Because it is happening. That's my philosophy. It should be happening. It is happening. It's supposed to be happening. Why? Because it is.
Yeah.
So what are we supposed to be getting, from all this? And to use it and accept it, to say, well, maybe, we need to get back to human contact because we're getting so far away.
Yeah.
That we need to come back the other way. Because in history we get pendulums, right? We get pendulum swings.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So sometimes the pendulum has to swing way out there for it to come back the other way.
Yeah.
Let me know if you ever start a church, because I'll move to Houston for sermons like that, like mainly because that, I don't know, because I everything you just said really speaks to me, because I grew up, I was a spoiled ass kid, and I developed this thing where I wouldn't ask a question if I thought the answer would be no. Because I was scared of just hearing the word no, even if it was something really dumb that I just hated that word so much that I grew the behavior of just asking for forgiveness later, like some troublesome children do. And that's still something that I struggle with today. I have to force myself to go have a conversation where I might not get the thing that I want or something, but then everything's fine. The world keeps spinning after that, and everything's cool. But there's always like a panic attack I have.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
improv helps though. Improv has helped me
to break that barrier down, to let some of the wall down, and make it a little bit easier
and to make less no's happen too.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Like just in a devious secondary sort of way. It's helped me just be able to get more yeses out of people. Yes, it has taught me how to manipulate people.
Then you stop living a self-fulfilling prophecy. The actual fear of the no's is what evokes the no.
Yeah, totally. Well, that is a much less evil way to say it. Yeah, that is
right.
I think Chris actually may have been a little closer to nailing it on the head. Just in this,
that you're a sociopath.
Then I'm a bit of a sociopath. But I try to use my powers for good. I don't like hypnotize people into giving me their social security card or social security numbers or anything. I get them to like me and want to help me out. That's all that is.
To the idea too that you mentioned earlier about how you're in this to try to help people. Do you think that's what's fueled you through every new incarnation of the artist that you've been? Because you were a performer, and then you channeled that into teaching improv. You ran your own theater, and now you're using that to help people who don't even necessarily realize that's the sort of help that they need, and then you're giving it to them. Because, a person who walks through the door of a comedy school or an improv school, they're sort of already primed to want and be part of that sort of community.
Yeah.
But a person who's coming to a corporate workshop, or who's coming to let me help you build your business better, doesn't expect to be told, you've got to be kinder to yourself and other people.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes their boss may.
You need to learn to love yourself so that things can be right.
It doesn't always
it's
imagine.
the whole switcheroo. Yeah. And I was in corporate America for 25 years too. So it was like, everything has been to get to a place. Because, the only way we can help other people, too, if you want to take it to a really esoteric level, and this is my total belief, is that the only way that I'm going to be able to help people see that about themselves is to see it for me, is to go through the process for me.
Yep.
So I've been on a lifelong quest to do that, and it's always been, okay, great. I have that piece of information, and I've integrated it, because integration is a huge piece for me. I'm not about these people, these trainers that just go and deliver their stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just jab at people, blah 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 blah, and then move on for money.
Right.
That doesn't interest me. So integrate. If I can't integrate what you're telling me immediately before